a bunch of rumors swirling around about the buyback/confiscation program. The Liberals, they're still thinking they're going to roll this buyback out this year. And so we've heard a variety of different things, and people send us information all the time. 9.8 times out of 10, that information is incorrect, and the predictions do not happen. So anyway, I don't want to get into a lot of the rumors, but if you remember, we had Frank Nardi on from Craft FM, a range and a club in Quebec a few episodes ago. And like the retail buyback price list is kind of screwed up. And then I just heard something about firearm parts that the government says, okay, well, we're not going to let retailers, be standing there holding the bag for our, political machinations and our incompetence on public safety. And then 5 years later, they've done nothing. What do they do? Leave retailers and gun owners holding the bag for their political machinations and their failure to keep Canadians safe. So anyway, I guess parts were supposed to be included. Businesses that have parts, so let's say AR-15 trigger groups, which cannot fit in basically, I think there's 2 firearms in Canada that can accept AR trigger groups that aren't prohibited. So they're rapidly disappearing. All these AR barrels, stuff like that, things that you can't really put on any other firearm to recover your money. The government was supposed to buy these parts. And now I heard some rumor that maybe they're only going to cover 200 parts because they don't have the budget nor the wherewithal to buy all the parts that these retailers have. Well, some of these retailers have 1,000 parts or 2,000 parts, maybe more, depending on whether they're a wholesaler or not. And they're like, well, what do we do with the rest? And the government's response is like, well, you can export them, I guess, or throw them in the garbage. It's like, I thought you were going to buy them. It's like, well, we don't have any money. We're like, $62 billion in deficit in 1 year, right? Which is I think 2024, right? So I don't know. What a mess. And then the other thing was, there was a rumor swirling around. I don't want to get too into that because we don't know what's true and what isn't, but they're going to push the private firearm buyback, right? The end user buyback forward by circulating a form that you'll get in the mail. It says, list all of your newly prohibited firearms with your serial numbers and all that stuff. So in the future, when the buyback happens, you can get some money. I find that, if that were true, I find that to be pretty interesting. And I would wonder how many people are going to participate in that, because it's typical for the government. They say, well, you can take this medication or lose your job, be ostracized from society. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You can't travel. You can't do anything, but it's actually a choice. And so here you go, make the choice. So this is a similar thing where they are probably not going to be around long enough to roll anything out. But if they send these forms and they make a very short deadline to return these forms, then law-abiding, licensed, good Canadians will be faced with a choice. Do I give them all the information? Do I provide them with a long gun registry, basically, all the long gun registry data, which is abhorrent that they would even demand that from somebody who is not a criminal? Do I do that or end up on the wrong side of the law? And what happens if they delay the election and they roll this thing out and I didn't put that, and then I therefore lose all these guns? I get no compensation. Like, just the way that they treat people and the stress they put them under is just wild. So if that's true, just yet another monstrous example of just this sick behavior by these people. But anyway, here's the good news. This whole government may be coming to an end really soon. So, and there's some things moving around that might indicate that an election will happen a lot sooner than later. So anyway, there's a lot of reasons despite all that stuff. And when you hear it, I know it kind of winds you up and makes you a little bit anxious, because these are terrible things, examples of terrible behavior from an entity, the government, that's supposed to be altruistic all the time or work for you. You're not their slave. You're not their servant. They're supposed to work for you and do your bidding. But it just, for the last, 10 years, maybe 30 years, it just hasn't felt like that. But things are changing, and they're changing really, really fast. So anyway, stay the course. I still think, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong many times before, and I'll continue to be wrong in the future, but I still think that things are going to get a little bit better, and it's not going to be too long. We just got to stay the course. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. If you're not subscribed, please do that. The notification bell is great. Yeah, if you want to be notified when we do a new video, great. If you don't, that's okay too. But if you can subscribe, that would be awesome. I'd really like to see us get to 100,000 subscribers. which would be good. Okay, that's it. Thanks everyone. Take care, and we will see you soon.